The 2014 Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka will forever be remembered for one of the most tragic accidents in modern Formula One history. It was a day that started with excitement and anticipation, but ended in heartbreak, fundamentally changing the sport we love. The crash involving Jules Bianchi wasn't just a random incident. It was a devastating chain of events that highlighted the inherent dangers of motorsport, even in an era of unprecedented safety. Today, we're going to take a detailed look at what happened on that fateful day, why it happened, and how it led to crucial safety innovations that protect drivers today. This isn't just a story of tragedy, but also a story of lessons learned and the relentless pursuit of safety in Formula One. The race weekend at Suzuka was overshadowed by the looming threat of Typhoon Fanfone. Heavy rain was predicted, and it arrived with a vengeance. The race started behind the safety car, but even after it got underway properly, the conditions were treacherous. The track was soaked, visibility was poor due to spray, and drivers were struggling for grip. The race was a constant battle against the elements. By lap 42, the rain was intensifying again. Adrian Sutil, driving for Sauber, lost control of his car at the Dunlop curve, turned 7, and spun into the tire barrier. This is where the sequence of events leading to Bianchi's accident began. Race control deployed double-waved yellow flags in that sector, signaling to drivers that there was a hazard on track and they needed to slow down significantly and be prepared to stop. A recovery vehicle, a large tractor crane, was sent out to retrieve Sutil's car. This was a standard procedure at the time. Jules Bianchi, driving for the Marussia F1 team, was in 9th place, having driven a brilliant race in the difficult conditions. He was on the lap following Sutil's crash. As he approached turn 7, under the double yellow flags, he lost control of his Marussia. The car suffered from aquaplaning, where a layer of water builds up between the tires and the track surface, causing a complete loss of traction and steering control. His car veered off the track at high speed, on almost the exact same line as Sutil's had just moments before. But instead of hitting the tire barrier, Bianchi's car slid directly towards the recovery crane that was busy lifting Sutil's Sauber. The trajectory was a cruel twist of fate. The car slid underneath the rear of the heavy vehicle, and the impact was catastrophic. The roll hoop, designed to protect the driver in a rollover, was sheared off, and Bianchi's helmet made direct contact with the underside of the crane. The force of the impact was immense, and the race was immediately red-flagged. The silence that fell over Suzuka was deafening. So, why was this accident so severe? It was a perfect storm of devastating factors. First, the track conditions. The combination of heavy rain and running water created the perfect scenario for aquaplaning, making the car an uncontrollable sled. Second, the speed. While drivers are required to slow for yellow flags, the loss of control happened so suddenly that his car was still traveling at over 120 kilometers per hour at the moment of impact. But the most critical factor was the presence of the recovery vehicle. Formula One cars are designed to withstand incredible impacts, with tire barriers or even other F1 cars, but they are not designed to slide under a multi-ton piece of industrial machinery. The point of impact was above the protective survival cell, directly at the driver's head. This type of impact bypasses many of the car's primary safety structures. The sheer mass and rigidity of the crane meant that almost all the energy from the crash was absorbed by the car and, tragically, by Bianchi himself. Let's talk about the safety systems and how they performed. The survival cell, the carbon fiber monocoque that surrounds the driver, largely remained intact, a testament to its incredible strength. Bianchi's helmet, a state-of-the-art piece of equipment, did what it could. But the forces involved in this specific type of impact were far beyond what any helmet is designed to withstand. The Hans de Vos, which protects the driver's head and neck from whiplash and frontal impacts, was not a primary factor here, as the impact was from above and to the side. The immediate medical response was swift. The F1 medical team was on the scene within minutes. Bianchi was extricated from the car and taken to the trackside medical center before being transferred by ambulance to a nearby hospital, as the weather was too poor for a helicopter evacuation. He had suffered a diffuse axonal injury, a severe and widespread type of brain injury. He was placed in an induced coma and underwent emergency surgery. Despite the best medical care, Jules Bianchi never regained consciousness. After a 9-month battle, he passed away on July 17, 2015, becoming the first driver to die from injuries sustained during a Grand Prix weekend since Ayrton Senna in 1994. The aftermath of Bianchi's crash sent shockwaves through the entire motorsport world. The FIA, Formula One's governing body, immediately launched a comprehensive investigation. The findings led to some of the most significant safety changes in a generation. The first, and most important, was the introduction of the virtual safety car, or VIA. The VSE system forces all drivers to reduce their speed to a mandated delta time throughout the entire lap when deployed, neutralizing the race without bringing out the full safety car. This prevents a situation where a driver might misjudge their speed in a yellow flag zone. The start times for some races were also moved earlier to avoid racing in fading light or worsening weather conditions, as was the case at Suzuka in 2014. Furthermore, protocols for recovery vehicles were overhauled. Now, it's extremely rare to see a crane on track without a full safety car being deployed first, ensuring the entire field is under controlled speed. And of course, the most visible legacy of this accident is the halo. The halo is a titanium cockpit protection device that sits above the driver's head. It's designed to deflect debris and withstand enormous impacts. Precisely the kind of impact that Bianchi's car sustained. When it was first introduced in 2018, many fans and even some drivers were critical of its appearance, but it has since proven its worth time and time again. It has saved drivers from serious injury or worse in numerous incidents. Most famously in Romain Grosjean's fiery crash in Bahrain, in 2020 in Lewis Hamilton's collision with Max Verstappen at Monza in 2021. Charles Leclerc, who was Jules Bianchi's godson, was also protected by the halo in a first-lap pileup at Spa in 2018. The halo is a direct result of the lessons learned from that terrible day in Japan. Jules Bianchi was a prodigious talent, a Ferrari Academy driver with a bright future ahead of him. His friends, like Daniel Ricciardo and Charles Leclerc, remember him as a fierce competitor and a warm, kind person. His loss was a profound tragedy, but his legacy lives on in the safety measures that now protect every single driver on the grid.